Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, ET Now's one-stop platform for the micro, small and medium enterprise sector of India. On the show today, renowned corporate leader, best-selling author and philanthropist Vineet Nayar tells us how his theory of employees first, customers second can benefit small enterprises. On Bright Sparks, we meet the woman behind Sankalp, a company that's on a mission to make every Indian adopt the power of solar energy, and we explore Bonnie Products, an innovative company that's a pioneer in manufacturing baby feeding products. Well, that's the exciting lineup for today, so let's start right away with our Bright Sparks. At a time when India is fast recognizing the benefits of solar power and is pushing renewable energy adoption, one woman is doing her bit to help Indians shift to solar energy. Her company, Sankalp Energy, develops and deploys technology tools for the rooftop solar industry. It also has a network of solar advisors that can help you purchase verified solar power in a hassle-free manner. Here's ET Now's Punita Verma catching up with the founder of Sankalp.
Clean energy, green energy, energy that is environment friendly and is widely abundant. Sankalp was formed keeping precisely this criteria in mind. Founded in 2012 by MIT-educated Kanika Khanna, the company is already one of the top 10 players in solar energy sector in the capital region and continues to capture the energy market at a high pace. You are a graduate from MIT, that is like one of the best universities in the world, and you also have 5 years of successful career in the US behind you. What made you come back to India and launch Sankalp?
So I come from a family of businessmen or entrepreneurs. They've been in business for the past 50 plus years. I always felt like I wanted to do something on my own. When I was working in the US, felt like I wasn't doing enough, wasn't contributing enough to society. Came across the Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission at that point of time. I felt like that would be a logical way, solar energy would be a logical way to contribute more to society.
Sankalp took 3 years to break even. There has been no looking back since then. In fact, now the company is looking at newer avenues by establishing itself as a solar energy marketplace. A plan certainly ambitious, but as Kanika claims, not out of reach. So what has your growth rate been like since the inception of your company?
It was fairly steady, almost flatline for the first 2 to 3 years. We might have doubled in the first year, but we had a small starting point. But this year we have, I think, almost grown 6 times. It's been a hockey stick curve for us. And in terms of numbers, our turnover was barely 5 lakhs in the first year, and today we are sitting at 7 crores.
Well, the government has been talking a lot about clean energy, green energy, better energy. So has the government policy been helpful in the growth of your company and the growth of the solar energy sector as well?
So the government policy started with the release of the National Solar Mission in 2010, and I think that really didn't percolate down very well. With anything new, you would expect that the takeoff is slow, but in the past couple years, the government has really helped in terms of policies. There was also subsidies that came in the middle. Those subsidies were not very effective, honestly. But now something like net metering has been introduced, especially in Delhi NCR. What that allows is every consumer can export electricity to the grid. So that eliminates expensive battery technology. That has been the fillip in the solar industry.
The company has managed to impress its clients very well. Its impact and user-friendliness has attracted customers ranging from top-notch MNCs to schools, where the students take decision on the vendor they would like to have at their academic institute.
We did an electricity audit in the school, and we realized that a 30 kVA unit of solar panels would really help us meet a percentage of our demand of the electricity in our school. So we listed a lot of companies and we visited 2 schools. Both the schools were very positive about the company Sankalp.
One significant difference after installing the panels is that we have managed to save a lot of electricity, and a significant decrease has been found in the electricity bill, which is of around 50,000.
Keeping in mind that there are more than 15,000 rooftop solar companies in the industry, our focus is now how we can use that as an opportunity and rather than compete with those new number of companies entering the industry, be the facilitator and provide them the right kind of tools. And the app is the medium that we are using for that growth. Using the app, we are able to partner with 100 people, like I mentioned, and this has happened in only 2 months. We were able to partner with 100 people in 2 months. So using technology as a tool, we are able to increase our partner base very aggressively.
Kanika could have taken an easy ride, but it was a deliberate decision to sail through rough waters all by herself. Beating the odds that come along with launching a venture, she now stands tall with a company that has seen its revenue rising 6 times merely in current calendar year. Patience certainly pays rich dividends. Well, your family has successful business ventures running in real estate, jewellery and hospitality sector as well. Did you not contemplate joining them?
It honestly never crossed my mind for a minute. My family has been into businesses that are not related to engineering, and I felt that I wanted to be an engineer. My mother pushed me in this direction a little bit, maybe didn't push me, but she counseled me and inspired me. So it honestly never really crossed my mind.
So you are one of the very few women entrepreneurs in the solar energy sector. Was it easy being a woman entrepreneur in the industry?
When I started in the industry, I felt that being a woman was a challenge because people wouldn't trust you as easily because you're in the engineering field. People expect white-haired men. But I've come to learn that once you know your stuff, being a woman is a positive and not a negative. So I think you just have to believe that gender has nothing to do with it.
In a journey spanning 4 years, Sankalp has not only parked itself ahead of the leading market players, but also achieved more than a startup would aim to accomplish. With the numbers indicating a steady upsurge, Kanika and her venture Sankalp have set their eyes on taking the solar energy sector to another level of competition altogether.
So that was Kanika Khanna using her MIT education to help rural electrification in India. Our next bright spark today is a Noida-based company that's helping new moms with its offerings. Bonnie Products has been fulfilling the needs of infants for over 5 decades now with its wide range of feeding bottles and other products. ET Now's Libza Manan caught up with the father-son duo that's taking Bonnie Products around the world.
Noida-based Bonnie Products has been strengthening the bond of love between mothers and their newly borns for over 5 decades now. In 1963, a visionary in baby products, D.R. Aneja identified a gap in the market of baby care and launched Bonnie Products with a vision to fulfill the first need of an infant by manufacturing superior quality feeding bottles and other products.
It was in 1963 that we decided to go for our own products, and we had 3 options. One was the hair nets, then we also thought of hair pins and baby feeding bottles and nipples. But it is the destiny which makes you go, ultimately. And because in feeding bottle and nipples, the line we were already dealing with general merchandise, with chemists, we thought it will be more proper for us to go for a line where we have the links also. So we decided to go for baby feeding bottles and nipples.
Continuing the legacy of providing a secure childhood is second-generation entrepreneur Gaurav Aneja, who is taking the company to new heights with his expertise and innovative ideas. With a diverse range of baby feeding products and accessories, Bonnie is today a trustworthy name, not only among Indian mothers but also worldwide, with its presence in various international markets.
See, we work through a pan-India based company. We are a pan-India based company. So we work almost, in India we work almost through more than 750 distributors. If we talk about the export markets, we've been catering to markets like Asian markets and countries like Sri Lanka, Middle East, then also talk about Yemen, Egypt, and now we are also venturing to markets like UK, US. Some of our export markets are Australia. So we are now aiming to be a global company.
With a clear vision to provide the best quality, Bonnie Products is adopting the latest technology and machinery in its 2 manufacturing units at Noida. Over the years, the company has sourced machinery from around the world for effective production and expansion of its product range. Today, the company has various certifications to its credit, ensuring quality of all its products.
We are using two technologies, that is the ISBM and the LIM technology, which we specialize in. So ISBM is for baby bottles and LIM is for baby teats. And these are the latest technologies in the world. So if I say it's, if you see any product either being manufactured in European or US markets, would be equivalent or would be the same what Bonnie Products is doing it in India. So our technologies are not only best around Asia, but they are best around the world.
We have been organizing ourselves to work in a very organized way, working from shop to shop, visiting appointing area distributors and stockists, while other players who are in the market, they are not organized, they are not quality conscious. These two factors helped us a lot to grow, and today Bonnie is the largest producers of baby feeding bottles and nipples in India, and because it is producing all products which meet international standards. All certifications of the European countries these products meet.
Riding high on the success of baby feeding products, Bonnie has also established a joint venture with a multinational company and manufactures liquid silicone components for various industries overseas. Clocking an annual turnover of 25 crore rupees last fiscal, the company is now eyeing more international markets and diversifying into other areas of infant care.
Well, that was Bonnie Products, innovating with technology and design to offer products for newborn babies. Let's take a short break right here. On the other side, we'll speak to HCL's former CEO and now best-selling author Vineet Nayar. He has some interesting and unconventional management techniques for micro, small and medium enterprises. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on ET Now. Welcome back to Leaders of Tomorrow. On our Insight segment, we bring you the views of policymakers, academicians, and leaders of India Inc. on subjects that matter to the micro, small, and medium enterprise sector. Today on Insight, we are joined by a man who dons many hats. He's been a corporate honcho, he's a best-selling author, and now a philanthropist. He's well known for his unconventional management theory of putting your employees first and your customers second. Can that strategy work for small enterprises? Well, we'll find out in my conversation with Vineet Nayar. You've donned many hats: author, entrepreneur, corporate leader, philanthropist now. Which one is your favorite?
I think at every single instance, the hat which I was wearing was my favorite hat. And therefore, that's important in life actually. Whatever you do it with so much passion because you love doing it, and that's the journey I followed.
Right. And back in the 90s, you turned entrepreneur with Comnet. Tell us about those entrepreneurial days. How did the idea come about? How was the journey?
I think to be entrepreneur, you have to be illogical. Therefore, when I started my entrepreneur journey, I had no idea, no money, nothing, and worked out of my house in DDA, Mandakini enclave. And on a blank sheet of paper. But what is important is your aspirations have to be extremely high. And my aspirations were very important, very high, with an assumption that there is some disruption waiting to happen in the technology space out there. And therefore, the idea originated out of that aspiration, and then the rest is execution.
So today, how do you think the entrepreneurial landscape has changed? What are the sort of challenges that you faced back then that you think are not there for today's entrepreneurs? And what are the newer challenges that people today
I think the challenges are the same, the opportunities are bigger. The challenges of finance, the challenges of people, the challenges of where do I start, the challenges of where do I find customers, what is the proposition, who will pay me, why would they pay me, all those challenges will remain the same. None of them have changed. However, what has happened is the opportunity landscape has suddenly increased because the internet coming in, your ability to reach your idea, ability to reach your brand is significantly increased. For us, it used to take a longer time to reach our idea to the people who are relevant. I think today that has dramatically changed. So it's become easier now than it was.
But what do you think of the culture of entrepreneurship that's really catching up in India today? You're seeing far more startups in the country than ever before. What are some of those things that startups need to watch out for? Because, you know, these days every second person wants to do something of his or her own. So what are the don'ts at this stage?
You know, when I was growing up, when you ask a child what do you want to be, the answer was a doctor or an engineer.
Correct.
And when you ask today what do you want to be, the person says a startup entrepreneur, and it's very dangerous. Startup entrepreneur needs very high aspirations, needs the ability to conceptualize a problem which others don't see, needs the ability to execute on that problem in an innovative way which others can't, and the ability to convince people to put money behind your idea.
Right.
Not many people have that capability. Not many teams have that capability. So doing a startup over a couple of glasses of beer and saying that I want to do a startup and then doing a startup are completely different things. And I believe that 99% of startups in India are failing today. Only 1% is succeeding because they are not starting with enough thought put into those startups. It is too easy to do a startup. So I would say that one of the first things you should watch out for is there are systematic steps of taking a decision of what is the right startup. Go through those systematic steps before jumping in and doing a startup, because there's no point of doing a startup and failing.
Right.
Do a startup when you're ready for it, and then make sure that you're part of the 1% and not 99%.
Let's talk a little bit about your famous unconventional approach, your philosophy of employees first, customers second. Can MSMEs afford to have that approach?
I think MSMEs have no choice. The reason is that when you start your company, you start with a great idea. You start with yourself, a couple of friends, and maybe some family members, and then it becomes successful. Once it becomes successful, then you are on a crossroad and saying, okay, how do I grow it? When you want to grow it, you need two things. You need another great idea so that you can roll that forward, and you need people. Now, why would anybody in his right mind join a risky small sector when potentially a good talent can get a decent job in a multinational? For that, you have to attract them by not just money, but more importantly, because money will attract the wrong kind of people, but with a new culture. So employee first, customer second is a proposition to a potential employee by an employer. Then actually I'm in the business of getting you to do what you want to do,
Right.
so that I can help you grow and get you to do what you want to do. It's very interesting when you walk into Facebook, the conversation today is what are you going to do after Facebook? So Facebook always tells you that you can come and join us, and after 2 or 3 years you can actually start your own stuff. So they get this hugely intelligent people to come in to be part of that journey for a few years, and some of them may continue longer, but they come in very prepared to be able to do the next startup. So the proposition to the employee is very clear in that matter.
Right.
In small and medium sectors, I think when we say emotive proposition, right, you should be passionate about my business because I'm passionate about business, that doesn't cut ice. So employee first, customer second is an idea where the employer or the promoter thinks about what is in it for the employee. Why should that guy burn midnight oil, and how
Work
would
for my
that guy
business.
get passionate about my ideas? By immersing yourself into enthusing, encouraging, and enabling him, that is the only way you will be able to grow your company. Otherwise, it's not going to grow.
But what are the elements of employees first that small companies should pick up?
I think the first element is trust through transparency, that if you really want good people to come and work for you, you have to trust them and you have to be transparent about what you're doing. That's the first one.
Right.
Secondly is delegate the responsibility to them fully. So if you are the most intelligent person and if you can do it, then do it. If you can't do it, then delegate. And then when you delegate, then teach them, help them, do whatever you are, but when it is delegated, so that the ownership. You teach your employees to take higher and higher sense of ownership.
Right.
And the third is you must understand that Rome was not built in a day, and neither is your company going to be built in a day. So hire employees who have high aspirations and have never done this before. And therefore they see the platform of joining your company as a very exciting place, because nobody else will give them an opportunity doing that. So I think between these three things, if you build your company and you build your culture, it will be a very exciting place to be, because it will be very experimental, it will be high on intensity, high on learning, high on energy, high on enthusiasm, and you'll go far with old ideas.
Talent acquisition is often one of the biggest challenges for small and medium enterprises, as is extracting high performance from the talent that they've hired. So what are some of the steps that MSMEs can take to attract the right people and also to make them high performing individuals?
So if you are a diamond cutter, would you join a shop which has polished diamonds, or would you join a shop which has rough diamonds? And that is a mistake which all the small sector guys do. They try and project their shops as polished diamond shops and expect diamond cutters to join them. If they were to reverse that equation and saying, hey, we have rough diamonds, very good of them, we don't know how to cut them, I need your help. I need diamond cutters who are par excellence to try and paint their vision on my diamonds. You will attract the right kind of diamond cutters. So go in with the challenge, don't go in with the proposition, go in with the opportunity for a potential employee, because you can't fix it yourself. If you go in with that proposition, you will attract the right kind of people. If you go in with the proposition that we are heroes, we have everything fixed, and you should be very proud of joining us, you are not going to get the brightest of talent coming in. There are certain kind of people who get excited with challenges, and there are certain kind of people who just want to belong. Right. If you attract the people who just want to belong to a brand or want to join you for the money, who want to join in because you're going to give them a challenge which nobody else is going to take a risk with them. And that is how you attract the best talent in the industry.
For the last couple of decades, so to speak, the MSME sector has really built businesses on either cost efficiency or quality in a lot of cases. But going forward, do you think a more value-based approach is going to drive businesses or can drive businesses?
So I think the beauty of the MSME sector in India is the fact that it has some of the brightest people in India. And the reason it is the brightest people in India is because they have created businesses in very tough environment. Financially, it is very difficult to raise money. Customers are very, very difficult because most of the customers don't pay on time or don't pay at all. Ideas are very difficult to generate. People are very difficult to attract. So if you are an MSME who have been in existence for the last 5 years, I think congratulations, you've done extremely well. Now the question is, you have to ask the question you are asking, is cost enough? Is efficiency enough? Yes. If all the things which were making you successful in the last 5 years or last decade, are they going to be relevant in future? The next 2-3 years, the answer is yes, but beyond that, the answer is no. And therefore, in your specific sector, you'll have to sit down and saying, what's going to happen tomorrow? And what percentage of the new cash which I'm generating has to be invested in their new idea? So if you're a property dealer, you'll have to invest in a digital platform to rate properties. If you're a travel agent, you'll have to create experiences and not book tickets. So for all businesses, there is going to be what I call a generation 2.0, which is going to happen. And a certain percentage of your profits, you need to invest in it. And because you have succeeded in a tough environment, I think the environment ahead is easier than what you have already navigated through.
Right. And so what you're saying is basically get innovative with the way you're running your business. And innovation is a key growth driver for many companies today. How does a small organization build a culture of innovation within itself so that, every employee is innovative in the way he or she works?
So this is a very interesting question, and which Harvard Business School and MIT did a study of, I think, about 500 so-called innovators, including Steve Jobs, and said, what is the difference between successful innovators and unsuccessful innovators? And the big headline news was successful innovators innovate and don't delegate. So innovation is not about delegation. Innovation is first do it yourself, show it that you can do it so that I can copy what you do. So entrepreneurs, before they focus on creating a culture of innovation, have to learn to innovate themselves. Now, more and more entrepreneurs I talk to are asking me this question, how do I get an employee to innovate? And I ask them, tell me an example of what you innovated last month. So my view is that go to a training school, talk to people, talk to painters, talk to diamond cutters, talk to potters, anything unassociated with your business which gives you innovative ideas. Innovate yourself, don't delegate that. You cannot hire innovators, you have to be an innovator, and once you are an innovator, the rest of the company will look at you, start copying you, and that's how the culture of innovation will transform.
Well, that's all we have on the show today. Leaders of Tomorrow will continue to bring you discussions, solve your business queries, and celebrate your spirit of entrepreneurship. So feel free to get in touch with us at any point of time with your ideas, queries, or feedback. You can write to us on the email ID leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com or reach us using social media. Just remember to put in the hashtag LOT or call us on the number flashing on your screen. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.